What happened to this Zambia influencer? Who killed her? They say she went out to hang out with her friends at a club, and by the time she returned home to her boyfriend, she began throwing up excessively and even died before they could rush her to the hospital. Who killed Lisa Mutalo? Was she poisoned by her friends when she was with them? Or did her boyfriend beat her up when she came home because she went out to hang out with her friends? Right now, we don't know what happened, but this is everything that we know. Lisa was a model, an influencer, a content creator, and a social media personality. It said that she worked at a hotel in Lusaka as a brand ambassador, and she was also in a relationship with a man named Caleb. Lisa, also known as Andrea, was living with her boyfriend Caleb at the time of this incident. However, on this day, around the 19th and 20th of August 2026, she went out with two female friends to a bar or a club in Lusaka. The friends have not been publicly named. Mind you, before she went out with these friends, they were with her at the hotel where she worked in Lusaka. So they were there from evening, and when it came time to go out to the club, for the weekend, she went out with them. Somewhere around 2:30 a.m., her boyfriend Caleb came to pick her up at the location where they were. So he clearly is aware of where she was, and he offered to pick her up and her two friends. So they were in the car, he dropped the two friends and eventually went home with his babe. They went back to their apartment. So at this point, it's now Caleb and Lisa. Now, obviously Lisa is deceased, so we know from Caleb, according to his narrative, that the moment they got home, she began throwing up excessively. At first he thought it was just something she had drank or alcohol, but the throwing up did not stop. She threw up to the point she fainted and became unconscious. Caleb, seeing that this is getting serious, called his friend to come over to help take her to the hospital, and the friend came, and by the time they would rush Lisa to the hospital, she was pronounced dead on arrival, or not long after she got to the hospital, she was pronounced dead. The next morning, the police had the case reported at their desk and investigation began. They started trying to trace her steps as far back as to the day before and where she went to the club. However, when the story got to social media, a lot of people began suspecting the boyfriend, Caleb, citing that Caleb and Lisa had a strained relationship, had a relationship that they were always fighting, that they were in some sort of toxic relationship, and they believed if anything had happened to Lisa, it would have been Caleb who most likely had beaten her to death. But here is the thing, the police responded to this claim, saying that when her body was seen and it was observed, they did not see any physical injuries. There was no bruises and there was no indication that she had been hit or beaten or anything. But this response is not cast in stone, so we would have to wait for a coroner report, a pathology report, autopsy to say something else or to confirm it. Aside Caleb being a suspect, there are other people on the internet suspecting the two female friends she went to hang out with, because it's not uncommon for friends to poison friends, and they are believing that if she was trained up when she got home, then there's a chance she may have taken something at the club. Was her drink spiked? And if there is no bruises or physical evidence that she was beaten after she returned from the club, then there's a high chance that if she was poisoned, it happened at the club. So those two female friends need to be named. Is any one of them jealous of her? Is any one of them envious of her? We ought to know, because it takes nothing for them to just put something in her drinks.